Welcome.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Hello, hello, hello. This is where you say welcome.
Oh yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome,
Right.
Hot Shot Secret fan.
We've got storms rolling in from the right.
Living right day and night.
And we're supposed to be powered by science.
That is very true.
We better be able to get two people on what Charles about.
A lot of hard work that went into this. You know, it's something that we've been chasing for a year and a half to try to get this truck in the breeze.
We are live.
We are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. No finger from the director over there. There we go.
Thought we were going to miss this one.
Episode number 133, Hot Shot Secret Facebook Live. It's March 25th. That's our last episode of March.
Last one of March, moving into the fourth month of the year, and on to
It's a seasonal change too,
it is.
hence
And so we're going to talk about Diesel Extreme, doing a little spring clean out. It's a good time to.
it's an excellent time to do that. So as I always ask your questions below, we will answer them. I do want to bring up some in-house dirty laundry. I think we should start getting the YouTube comments up. If we can do it for Steve Summers, we should be able to do it for us.
You know what? I will.
You monitor that, I'll monitor Facebook,
Okay.
and then we'll get the Steve Summers set up for going forward.
Okay.
So, as of today, you can start commenting on YouTube and we'll take a look too. But we're dual streaming YouTube and Facebook. Make sure you like and share the video. Click the little bell to remind yourself that we are live every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Want to know where you're watching from? Aaron's not here because he's been wrapped up. R&D is slammed.
Slammed. And
They're doing
that's why we're
STLE.
out- That's why we're out in the studio as well.
We're out in the lobby again, yep.
Yeah, the STLE, which is the Society of Tribologists and Lubrication Engineers. Is that correct, or something like that?
I don't know if it's, yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Nerd Fest.
Nerd Fest
Yep.
2020.
But pretty big for us this year. We're actually presenting
Yes.
some of our very cool technology, so that'll be cool.
Especially on our nanotechnology. That's something that just blows those geeks' minds.
Also follow us on our Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And
The Hot Shot Secret R&D page as well on Facebook.
they're a little busy right now.
They are, but still some cool stuff.
Yep. So how about some dealer shout-outs?
Yeah, we have Lake Auto Repair in Lakeville,
I think it's Lakeview.
Arkansas. I was looking at the state. Mm-hmm. And JK Diesel Performance in St. Thomas, Pennsylvania. Welcome to have you guys on board there.
Absolutely. And don't forget, Lakeview Auto Repair and JK Diesel Performance, send in your decals. We are not in the studio now, but I do have some decals on my desk, so when we return back to the studio, we'll put some more up on the dealer wall there.
Nice.
I got a little pile of them, so, but we can always use more. But before we get started today, again, Diesel Extreme is the topic. If you got questions about fuel additives, today's the day for them, but we'll take all questions. No,
Microphone on? Someone commented on it. Just want to make sure.
check.
All right. Well, no. Maybe,
How we standing out there, Facebook? Looks like we're okay on my end.
yeah, I think so. Maybe he just doesn't have might be muted on his end, so.
Oh.
Just want to double check.
Josh said it's your problem.
It could be your problem.
But before we get started, as always, we're going to lead with our Get to Know Us segment, where every week, I wish Karen would have walked right through here, where every week we have one of our Hot Shot Secrets employees come in and we find a little more about them. So without further ado, come join us. Is this mic hot? It is hot. So speak directly into the mic. First things first, what's your name and what do you do here?
My name's Heather Parsons, and I am in Pick-Pack.
Pick-Pack, see, we got that described to us last week, I believe. So I got 10 questions for you, and hopefully we'll learn a little bit about you.
Okay.
All right, first off, how did you find out about Hot Shot Secret?
My husband is the warehouse manager, or not the warehouse, I'm sorry, maintenance. Maintenance manager. And he said that you guys were looking for some extra help, so I come in and here I am.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
We really keep it in the family here.
Rick Parsons, yeah.
We have a lot A lot of family in this
Family.
place. There's a lot of that. So,
That's good.
where were you born?
I was born in Galion, Ohio.
Okay, did you grow up there or somewhere else?
No, I grew up in Iberia.
Iberia. I know I've seen it. I don't know where it is.
It's like between Mount Gilead and Galion.
Okay. So you just keep making your way closer to.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What was your very first job?
My very first job was in Iberia. It was a small restaurant called Chewy's.
Huh.
In Iberia, if you blink your eyes, you'll miss it.
Okay.
So, very homey and
What kind of food?
your traditional burgers. Sunday you had your steak dinners, your chopstick dinners, mashed potatoes.
And what did you do there?
I washed dishes.
Always the starter job.
Yep.
All right. So what was your very first car?
My very first car was an Oldsmobile 4-door. The one door was a different color than the rest of the car.
Yep.
It was a big boat. I missed that thing.
Cool.
It was a
Yes,
bomb.
time you can just kind of run into things and not care.
Yeah,
Yep. Good first car. Did you play any sports growing up?
I did. I played softball from 5 years till 23. So volleyball, I ran track. I think that's about it.
So when I have the Hot Shots Olympics here, when I draft you to my team?
That was 20 years ago. You should.
All right. What's your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby is cooking and being out in the garden.
Okay, so what's the best dish you make?
Well,
What's your go-to?
my
You've got
go-to?
like the president's coming to eat dinner at your house. What's your go-to meal?
Probably carbonara.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Favorite holiday?
Halloween.
Oh, that's cool. We haven't had
Definitely.
many Halloweens. That is cool. And your favorite beverage?
Pepsi.
Okay. And what's your favorite after-hours beverage?
Like adult beverage?
Adult beverage.
Probably some Crown.
Oh,
In that Pepsi?
Yes, with the Pepsi.
they were serving Crown at the NTPA event this this past weekend.
Uh-oh.
I was pretty surprised. I was like, wow. And finally, your favorite TV show or movie?
My favorite movie is Dusk Till Dawn.
Good one.
My favorite TV would probably be The Office.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic. Do you have any bonus questions?
Yeah. What is Rick's favorite dish?
Yeah.
There we go, since he's cooking.
Is he picky?
No, so I don't know because he
He'll eat
likes
anything, won't he?
anything. So
I can see that.
anything on the grill, probably wings or ribs or something. Just if it's on the grill, it's done.
I can see that. You survived. That was painless, right?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Another successful guest on our Get to Know Us segment. And we're running out of employees. But
We'll hire some more.
there you go. Well, thanks for joining us. You survived.
Thank
and
you.
now everybody else knows a little bit more about you.
Thank you.
All right. Yep, you're good.
I'm actually going to use that because
Your mic's bad?
apparently, even though we tested it before we went online, it decided to quit.
Perfection.
Perfection, yes.
All right. Let's see who's in here. Mr. Dan Zelton's in. Chad Myers is checking in. Chad Myers is actually one of the decals I've got in there. Chad Myers 73. So Chad, when we get back into the studio, your decal will get up on the wall. Terry Howard, as always, with his Happy Hot Shot Secret Thursday, y'all. Hanging out with some classic car guys, buying products out of my trunk. There he goes. Shout out to Jonathan and his partners that love the products. Cool. Yeah, I know Terry said he's got these classic car guys that love the stuff, so good to hear. Dan's saying that I'm good, but you're not. I guess you got that taken care of. Joe Mandarino, got a shout out. How's it going all? Ron Huntley Jr., good afternoon. Chad says, gotta love some Crown Black on the rocks. Yep. And Josh Lawyer's in. What's up, Josh? How you doing? Josh, I haven't seen you for a while. I usually swing by often. Come back and say hey. That's a new one. So, how about TV Land? What we got going on this week?
Yeah, so tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. we have All Girls Garage featuring Diesel Extreme.
Diesel Extreme.
Ta-da. Saturday, 11:30 a.m., another all-girls garage featuring Gasoline Extreme. And Sunday, another all-girls garage, again at 11:30, featuring our Shifter store.
Yep.
So all those over on Motor Trend TV.
Yep. And for our featured ride of the week, you can always get your chance by posting up, and we select a winner every week and put it on top of the Hot Shot Secret Facebook page all week long. And this week's winner is Isaac Philip Napier with a Hot Shots looking big rig there.
That could be the new hauler for the motorsports team.
That could be. Isaac, are you for hire? We could do trailer coming, just hitch to that thing, we're good. It's got all the colors and everything. So always
You don't see a lot of cab overs like that either.
right. I've never sat in one of those. I bet it's weird going down the road.
I've never driven one, so I can't say, or sat in one.
Really?
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, me.
Huh.
They're not fat guy friendly.
I bet. I bet it's so weird. Like if you're like park up against the wall, like you just pull like right to here, like. But man, the cool trucks though. So thanks, Isaac, and congrats for being the feature ride of the week. They posted it up on Sunday afternoon, and I believe.
Monday around the middle of the day we pick one. So
Gotcha.
You got roughly 20 hours.
I'm still looking for someone to get like a lawnmower to make it. That's what I want to see.
I might work on one. I have a photo from years ago I might post. See if I can pay someone.
Little Bear ain't going to pick Big Bear. That's not going to happen. And as for our product, tag him and show us your photos with Hot Shot Secret products. You post on social media and tag us. And this week's winner is that 4th Gen Cummins. Looking like he's got his EDT in full swing, so he's obviously in some warmer weather. That's a nice, look at his stack is actually a square.
Yeah, square diamond plate. That's
unique. Yeah, I haven't seen that. So go give that 4th Gen, that _4th Gen _Cummins, go give him a follow. And thanks for posting up for us. And don't forget, Steve Summers' Overnight Drive is live every single Monday through Friday, midnight to 5 a.m. Eastern time. And check out the new app. You can listen to, actually, I got a question for you. So I know the Android app is out. So you can go to the Android store, search Overnight Drive Radio. You'll find it in there. The app carries the show live every night, 12 to 5. It's one button click. I know a lot of our over-the-road truckers were really waiting on the app because we've been streaming on Facebook and YouTube, but they want the screen off for driving. The app does that for you, as well as the website, overnightdriveradio.com. You can go to the website and do it as well. We've had the Google, the Android app for what, almost a month now?
Almost a month.
And then we submitted that the same time as the iPhone app.
Correct.
But the iPhone, we were told it takes a little longer. But I'm a little impatient. Now,
okay.
I got a question.
Okay.
I'm listening to the Steve Summers Overnight Drive, and I hear Steve say, well, today Josh has a meeting with Apple. I didn't know about this. So what was the result of this so-called meeting?
So I had a meeting with the app developer.
Well, sure.
Not Apple themselves.
Oh, the one that clearinghouse.
The clearinghouse. And we're all set. Now it's going on to the next stage. So we had a couple of hurdles. One, we had to get an Apple developer ID to have an app. That took a little bit of time to get through our legal department here. Just took a few days. And so every step of the way just takes a little more time, every single one. But so now we're kind of submitted to Apple themselves finally, like a month later. I'm like, okay.
So do you have projected turnaround time?
2 weeks.
Did you just make that up?
That's what they always say it is. It's 2 weeks.
It's always 2 weeks out.
It's always 2 weeks, man.
So we're that much closer on
exactly.
the iPhone app for everybody out there that's waiting on it. So truckers, we understand it's coming for you iPhone users. Be in the loop. Everything going on here at Hot Shot Secret, you can, our sales, news, blogs, all that good stuff. You can subscribe to our email newsletter right there on our website at the bottom. You can punch in your email, or you can go directly to hotshotsecret.com/email and put it in there. Or you can stop by here every Thursday and kind of catch up what's going on. But Newsletter's a good thing. Gives you some extra blogs and stuff that we don't cover all the time.
Right.
But we have some really good sales still going on, right, in retail?
Yeah, and retail over at O'Reilly's, basically everything that carries on sale now through the end of the month, so through next Wednesday, I believe that is. $8 off Stick Shield Eliminator and $4 off EDT, Diesel Extreme, and FR3.
Wow. It's they're selling it all there, so. Looks like Chris Wedinger's in here, JD Hogg. Dylan Kicks in. What's up, Dylan? I saw, Dylan's my buddy. He works a lot with Anthony Smith, Hercules, and they, not only did Hercules just kill it on their latest Street Outlaw show, they just had a race down in Texas or Florida, and apparently Anthony's, I think his camshaft snapped in half. So JJ gave him, I forget which car he jumped in. I think he jumped in Heifer. Jumped in Heifer and won it.
Nice.
Took the 10 grand like small tire. So shout out to my man Anthony Smith of Memphis Street Outlaws. That was a big win for him.
Chris was actually one of our pullers from this weekend in the Black John Deere Super Farm.
Yep.
With the side shields. I didn't know if you remembered or
And
not.
I do now. Let's
You
put
now,
that
you
together.
put the connection 2 and 2 together.
I'm there. So it was
Chris
cool to
had a
see.
good weekend, so good job, Chris, out there.
And Nick Caputo says, "What's up, guys? Don't tell my boss I'm watching. We won't." Nick, I also know that your sponsor package went out. He's one of our sponsored drivers now. It's a new sponsor for us this year. So, Nick, if your stuff hasn't arrived yet, it will be arriving any day. So, welcome to Team Hot Shots, and looking forward to a fun season. And of course, my mom's in saying, "I love you. I love you too, Mom. I miss you too, Mom. We'll see you soon, Ma." Actually, I got to head down to Steve Summers here. I was hoping to get down this week. It looks like it'll be next week. So I'll go see my mom and Steve Summers. 2 birds, 1 stone, right?
All right.
What's going on in event world? So this weekend, is it this? That's next weekend.
Yeah, it's next weekend.
So next weekend is the Sweet 16 4.0, one of those big Duck X production races. We are sponsoring the live feed of that with Flow Racing. So this is really the biggest one since the No Limit opener at the beginning of the season. So that's down there at South Georgia Motorsports Park. Also, same weekend, we have the Diesel Truck Wars. We just sent out some winners packages for that. So we're hoping to make that, that's down in North Carolina. We're hoping to make it out there, just the schedule didn't work out. But we sent some winners boxes down for all the class winners of that. So good luck to the guys down there at Diesel Truck Wars. It's always a good event. They have a fall one too, so hopefully we make it to the fall one. This is the kind of the spring kickoff, if you will. Oh, it is right here. Northeast Dragway, North Carolina, April 3rd. And then
Following week, we go on to Outlaw Gas versus Diesel Cash Bash.
oh, I was looking at the streetcar unit. I was trying to figure out what that was. That's the other Flow Racing sponsorship.
Gotcha.
That's not until April 22nd.
Okay.
That's a VMP coming up. But yeah, you're right. April 6th through 10th, English Motorsports Park in Tennessee, Outlaw Gas versus Diesel Cash Bash. That's kind of a follow-up to the event we just had down in Florida, the Epplings. Epling Garage puts that on. So I believe we're a lane sponsor for that. I think I'm left lane sponsor. I can't remember. I usually pick left.
Okay. Why do you pick left?
Because BD Diesel buys every right lane in the world, so like by default, I'm like left's available if BDs are anywhere around. So,
Okay.
And a side note to the Epplings that I also know is going on this weekend down in Orlando is a big race for the Modern Street Hemi Shootout, and we also sponsor Eppling's gas side of things. He has the world's fastest Hellcat, and he's running our adrenaline racing oil in that. Matter of fact, I was a little late, so I had to ship it directly to the racetrack because they didn't have any backup there. So I saw the Epplings just loaded up the car yesterday heading down to Florida. So big event down there. Good luck to everybody at the Modern Street Hemi Shootout, and all of our drivers that'll be there too. So that's a big event this weekend as well. And we'll talk more about the Outlaw Gas versus. He's going to have to get back up and host this event in Tennessee next weekend too, so he's going to be on the road quite a bit.
Wow, yeah.
But we'll be down for that. I'll be heading down there. I think Aaron's meeting me there. I'm not really sure yet, but I will be down there in Tennessee next weekend for that. And then our giveaway every week. We give away something, right?
Right.
So what's the giveaway this week?
Well, we were giving away Diesel Extreme, but I don't know what happened, but no one entered the contest. Seriously.
Really?
Seriously, yes. So, you know.
You get it then.
Yes.
Little Bear gets a Diesel Extreme. Wow, that must be pretty easy to win then.
Yeah, I mean.
Do we put the thing up? Little Bear. All right.
Yeah, it was there.
So there's your chance, folks. All you have to do is go to hotshotsecret.com/giveaway. And can't they do it like every day?
Every day they can get additional entries, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it's really simple to try out some products. I mean, we want to give it to you. Give
Right.
some products to
So
try.
nobody's getting nothing.
Yeah,
Sorry. Got to make you work for it a little bit. Just at least
Exactly.
put an email in.
yeah.
That's all you got to do for some free product. So, Nick says, I got it. Appreciate it and glad to be part of the team. Good to hear, Nick. Glad that arrived for you. So, let's jump into some Diesel Extreme.
Just jump right
Let's
in.
educate some folks. First off, why don't you take it from the top? What's the purpose of the product? Because I know a lot of people. This is one of our most widely carried retail products. So a lot of people know us because they see our Stiction Eliminator everywhere, and they see our Diesel Extreme everywhere. Some people think it's the only two products we have, but it's a widely carried product. But we do have a line of fuel additives, and this fits a certain area. What's the purpose of this?
So the main purpose is a deep injector cleaner plus Cetane Boost. So basically what we're trying to do is make sure that we have the best fuel available. We're delivering it optimally to burn the most efficient way possible. And we also take care of all the common issues of diesel fuel and well, being fully formulated 6-in-1 product.
Well, so is our EDT, though, right?
So it is. This is the higher concentration of injector cleaner and cetane.
Right.
So this is.
And I
just
know a
kinda
lot
like
of times before, this became the reason why we created EDT.
It is.
Because a lot of people were actually using this product for, they still do. We heard it this weekend at the NTPA.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
People putting it in every single tank. And again, we tell people that pays a lot of bills around here. We appreciate it, but it's a little overkill. It's not what the product was designed for. It was really designed to be used every 6,000 miles or so. I know a lot of people that do it with their oil change interval, maybe 5,000, might be 10,000, but it's the periodic full flush cleaning of the system. And I understand. It's like, if you actually go look on the shelf at all the fuel additives out there and the options you have, dosage-wise, it's right in line with everything. Like, this should be, 80 gallons? Yeah, 80 gallons for a quart. You'll see that dosage on most of the fuel additives there, somewhere in that ballpark. Mm-hmm. And that's why when we have our little 16-ounce bottle of EDT, and that's 400 gallons. Right. So I think sometimes people get a little confused when it's already a confusing aisle to start with when you're looking at all the diesel fuel additives. But when you break down those costs by dosage and what your actual cost per use is, specifically on an everyday treatment, it's extremely low because you get so much out of that bottle. Right. Diesel Extreme, not so much. We're actually trying to really design it for use every 6 months, 6,000 miles, maybe 400 hours on a generator, something like that. And if you're using it in every single tank full, you have a better option. The better option is EDT.
I think we should look at this though as well. You can't really harm anything by doing it except for your pocketbook. It's the only thing you can hurt.
Yep.
I mean, there's not like there's something harsh in there that's really eating away at the injectors or something like that. No, there's nothing like that in there. But
and we get that
you have
call,
better option,
customer
yeah.
service. We
Yeah.
get that call.
Yeah.
I poured way too much in.
Yeah.
You're fine. And a matter of fact, a lot of times if we're actually trying to attack a problem and there's some gunked up injectors or a fuel system that got some a lot of moisture in it, something like that. A lot of times we'll even double the dose or maybe do back-to-back tanks with Diesel Extreme. That's when we're really targeting a problem. For the general maintenance use of it, though, 6,000 miles, 6 months, this is kind of the range you want to go with. That all being said, we are still putting everything into it. So it still is a fully formulated product, absolutely zero fillers in it whatsoever, and we got the 6. Come on, Josh. Now, if Aaron were here, he'd try to do it without using his fingers.
Okay, it should be me, right?
So let's hear the 6 ingredients in our Diesel Extreme.
Cetane Boost,
Correct?
moisture dispersant,
Strange order. I'll give you number 2, though.
lubricity,
Yep.
rust and corrosion inhibitor,
Okay.
fuel stabilizer, injector cleaner. I'm missing one more.
I think you got them.
Did I get them all? I didn't use my fingers. That was the. That's
So you can remember. You just can't count.
I just can't count. Yeah, I'll just name them off in any order. It sounds good to me. But
Yep.
Yeah, the
you hit
true
'em.
order should have been injector cleaner, cetane booster, lubricity, water and moisture dispersant, rust and corrosion inhibitor, and fuel stabilizer. All
Exactly.
in one.
I like going that range because they kind of make sense how they work together.
It does.
So
Now, when I talk about EDT, I usually start with lubricity
right
because I think that's the newest reason for really what
people are looking for, right?
Yeah.
So what's unique about that is, and we can jump into each one of these as well. But you should know that our EDT has the exact same 6. We go after those same 6 components, and what we've done is we've looked at the fuel system as a whole, and we've had a lot of talks. I think last time I was on, I had done the diesel podcast interview talking about diesel fuel nowadays. So go check that out. We kind of do like a 45-minute long dive into diesel fuel, and you'll get why. So what we're trying to do with this product is treat the awful diesel fuel that we get at the pump, and at the same time treat the vehicle and make sure the vehicle, we're protecting all the systems of it and getting the most efficiency out of the vehicle as well. So the main difference between the two, EDT, our everyday treatment, and our Diesel Extreme, which is to use every so frequently, is this has a ton of injector cleaner, a ton of fuel system cleaner in there. It's designed to really, really flush the system. So if you can imagine, let's take a 80-gallon bottle right here. This is 32 ounces, treats 80 gallons. If we were to treat a tank, an 80-gallon tank with EDT, it would use 3 ounces. So 3 ounces would treat the tank, 32 for Diesel Extreme. And honestly, what that means is we're getting all those 6 components done in 3 ounces of concentration.
And it's actually more than that because EDT still has some injector cleaner in it.
Right. So it's keep clean dosage.
Yeah.
So aside from those 3 ounces, which actually would be the first ridge here, so this much of EDT will treat 80 gallons. That means the rest of all this is heavy injector and fuel system cleaner. So when I explain it to people like that, and they actually get to see how much they're pouring in is just on the injector cleaner, trust me, a dosage that large of fuel system cleaner is going to clean the crap out of your system. And it's the highest, it's the most potent on the marketplace, always has been for many years now. So that's why we say you really don't need to use this every single tank. A lot of people will say, well, I really like the boost out of it though, I feel the boost. Because you do get a 7-point cetane boost in this, but you can get a 7-point cetane boost using the performance dosage of EDT as well, and you're getting everything else for this much. And so instead of paying, I believe what's $12.95 for a 16-ounce bottle
Right.
of Diesel Extreme, that's one dose on a 40-gallon tank. So it's a $13 dosage on that tank, which is kind of pricey, you know. But used periodically as a clean out, it's well worth it. Whereas on the EDT side of things, you're talking about $1 a dosage, maybe $1.50 a dosage, which is low enough that you actually get that in payback on your mile per gallon. So folks, save the money. I understand that EDT is not widely as available, but it's out there now, and more of our retailers are picking it
I will
up.
say last year we picked up 3 key retailer accounts, O'Reilly's, AutoZone, and I think there was one other one. I can't remember what was the other retailer, but I mean those are just huge number of store locations.
And a truck stop picked it up too.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah,
I think it might have been Pilot or Flying J.
I think so. That's right.
So, you know, and if not, order it from our website, find a local dealer. EDC's out there and available. We're just telling you to save some money. And again, putting this much injector cleaner through your fuel system every single tank is not going to hurt anything. You're just going to have the world's cleanest fuel system, you know. But we can actually keep you that clean on EDT for 6,000 miles. It's got enough injector cleaner that a keep clean dosage that by the time you get back to another round of this, anything that's built up is going to be an easy clean for that diesel extreme. So that's the most important thing I always try to explain to people is exactly how much of that is injector cleaner. It's just kind of there's a more cost-effective way to use our products, and that's what we call it our two-step fuel treatment. Lead off a diesel extreme, follow up with EDT in every single tank. So let's dive into those 6 a little bit.
Okay.
Because another thing that happens is, okay, the main purpose of this is the injector cleaner to do the whole flush, but we don't want to give up that 1 tank of fuel just to do the clean. So we go ahead and formulate everything else into it. We've got a cetane improver in there. The Cetane Boost with your regular dosage of diesel extreme, I believe, is 7 points.
I believe so.
And what does cetane do for us? Why do we want to hire cetane?
Well, it gives us a better burn, basically. It's a little bit hotter burn, but a more complete burn. That's the biggest factor. So as we make a more complete burn into our fuel, we also create less soot and particulates. So we're also going to help our DPF system if we have one of those on our vehicle as well.
Right.
So we can reduce regens by 50% just by having a good solid burn with the clean on the injectors as well. So we're making sure we're getting a good spray pattern, which also helps as well with burning the fuel more completely.
Yep. And this is the part that really domino affects other things that you don't really think about. You don't really think that what's not burnt is passed through. So that means worse mile per gallon, because now you're not using all the fuel that you put in the tank. That fuel that isn't burnt is spent through, and now it's going to be more particulate filter in the DPF, which means you're going to regen sooner, which costs time and money and slow down, and we hate it anyway. So, and for those that are maybe new to diesels, one thing that I also think is a good thing to understand at the beginning of the difference between fuels when you're talking gasoline to diesel is cetane is really the opposite of octane. A lot of people can, understand octane and they see, 87 octane fuel, 91, 93 octane fuel. Well, gasoline is almost the exact opposite of diesel, where we are trying to limit the detonation of gasoline. So the higher the octane, the lower the detonation, correct?
Correct.
And vice versa, on diesel, we need to help it burn as much as we possibly can. So cetane is actually going to increase that burn, make it a more complete burn. As a matter of fact, it works opposite. If you were to put cetane in gasoline, it's going to bring that octane level down. So they're counterproductive, but they're also looking to do 2 different things. We want to control the detonation of gasoline. We want to boost it in diesel, so we burn all the fuel that goes in there. If you can efficiently burn every drop of fuel that you're putting in your tank, you're going to get better efficiency. You're going to have less DPF regens, less particulate. You're going to have less exhaust. It's just good all around.
And you're also going to have the most power available to you, too.
Power, yep. And,
Why not?
And depending on how you use that power, it could be towing, it could be having fun, it can be all that. That might affect the MPGs, but that's your throttle's decision on how you use that extra power. So another thing we talked about a lot, we still put the lubricity in there. We don't want to go 1 tank without the lubricity because the fuel is dry.
And it lubricates everything in the fuel system. It's not something else there that lubricates the pumps and the tips and so forth.
All those, everything sits in the fuel itself, and the only way we can protect it, and particularly if you've got an older vehicle, those were never really designed. At the time, we had high lubricity fuel. So if you've got a classic truck, or not even all that classic, not even that, it wasn't that long ago, those systems were designed for a fuel that had a lot more lubricity in it. And so you take an old truck and you try to run it on modern fuel that's super dry, it really wears out those fuel components, because it was built at a time where we had a different type of fuel. So adding lubricity to your fuel is just a no-brainer nowadays. It's going to prolong the life of the fuel system, and as we know, we've had a lot of talks about the CP3 pump, and when they came onto the CP4 pump, and how it's prone to failure when it hits this dry fuel. So a lot of guys ask us that, when we were talking about the LX4, how that's infused into the EDT, and people are using EDT regularly. They might be top treating with LX4 and protection of the CP4 pump. Well, now it's time to do a diesel extreme clean out. Should I put my LX4, should I put EDT on top of the diesel extreme? Again, there's plenty of lubricity in here. If you want to add, as we always say, you can top treat to get the wear scar down even more. But this isn't just an injector cleaner flush. This is still an all-in-one product with lubricity in it.
EDT had the LX4 in it. We had lubricity in it.
All of them, right?
It was just it was a different way of getting there. And we found this new technology, called LX4, had a better way of doing it. So what did we do? We added it to it.
Yep.
And we looked at adding it to Diesel Extreme and we go, for that every 6,000 miles, it's not really required.
They still might do it just because.
I think they just want to get some more data on what that can do to the entire fuel system.
Now, the next two, I'm going to kind of group together. In your list, you had them spread out, but I kind of tie the water dispersant and the rust and corrosion inhibitor together, because as we know, especially again, this is a kind of seasonal thing. We're starting to warm back up again. It's the changing of the seasons that really create a lot of condensation, moisture in the fuel systems. Diesel's prone to it, especially even just coming out of the ground, frozen ground, we're starting to warm up. The tanks have moisture inside of them, so you're pumping in moisture a lot of the times. As we know, these systems have a fuel separator in them, or fuel water separator in them, but we want to assist that separation. So we use a demulsifier in our diesel extreme, and what that does is when it mixes with the fuel, it's going to find the water in there that is dispersed throughout and it's going to drop it out of solution. And just like you see oil sitting on top of water, or your favorite bar shot that has a layered bar shot, well, we're assisting the moisture of the fuel to drop out of solution. So if you could see it in a glass like that, you would see that all the water is now sitting below all the fuel. Well, that's right where your water separator is in your fuel tank on your diesel application. So we're kind of just feeding the water there to strip it out of the fuel system, because we don't want that to pass through. You get water, once you get to the high pressure side of the fuel system, I mean, some of these diesels, 30,000 PSI, right?
And higher. Yeah.
And higher. So, I mean, that pressure is insane. And when you get water coming out at that pressure, especially when you get to the fuel injectors and the tips there, it's known to blow the tip off injectors. And that's
creates steam, basically, because of the heat and just the overall pressure.
And that's going to affect your fuel pattern spray, which is going to affect the burn of the fuel, your horsepower, your mile per gallon, everything, just the drivability of it. So it's very important to get all the moisture out of there. Well, again, that's already in here, and we're going to make sure it gets pulled out. Now, what happens when you start pulling the moisture out of it is now we're introducing all that water to parts of your fuel system. And just like we said earlier, the only thing that is lubricating your fuel system is the fuel itself. Well, now we've got fuel and water in there. Well, water is the food for corrosion. So without any water in your fuel system, you don't have to worry about any rust or anything like that. There's nothing in diesel fuel itself that's going to assist with that. But as soon as we introduce water to the fuel system, it opens you up for rust and corrosion issues. So that's why we're always trying to think one step ahead. It's like, okay, we're putting dispersant in there, we're going to drop the water out. Well, what problem could that then cause? Okay, before it gets all picked up in the water separator, let's add a rust and corrosion inhibitor. And that actually rust and corrosion inhibitor we add to the diesel extreme coats your entire fuel system all the way out to the injector tip. So you guys have probably heard of it before, like a truck that's been stored for a while can even develop, right in the tip of the injector there, some corrosion over time just from storage. So having, I always tell people when they're storing it for the year or something, or if you have a vehicle you don't drive that much, make sure you got some diesel extreme in that final tank. And make sure, don't just pour it in the tank like some people do when they stabilize a tank or something. Fire it up, let it get throughout the whole system, and now when you shut it down for the year, everything's going to have a nice fresh coat of anti-corrosion inside, and you're going to be good to put it in storage. Which leads us to our sixth and final aspect.
The fuel stabilizer.
Fuel stabilizer. Yeah. Now, why would we need a fuel stabilizer in diesel extreme? I get it when I'm storing a car for a year, but why do I need it in every tank? Because we still have it in our EDT, and when we're just doing a cleaning.
Well, diesel itself actually goes bad pretty quickly.
very quickly.
Very quickly. And we don't know how long it's been sitting in the tank before you got it into your final tank, at the same token. So it's just another way of making sure that we're keeping our fuel fresh and the most viable option for a good and complete burn.
Yeah, and we often, advise people. I mean, getting fuel nowadays is a crapshoot. Like, it's hard to really rely on something. But you try to go to a more high traffic, fuel supply, so the fuel's been turned over a lot. Sometimes you're stuck in the middle of nowhere, and you come across a little tiny, mom and pop stand fuel. It's like, you just have to get what you get. Well, that's certainly a time you want to make sure you treat that fuel. It could be sitting there for a while. We know. We've seen oxidation start to develop in diesel fuel as soon as, 2 weeks. We've seen it on our measurements and our fuel sampling we do. So it's pretty important that you get a stabilizer in there pretty quickly. Now, the good thing is our stabilizer, it doesn't take much stabilizer of what we use to stabilize this fuel for quite a while. I know they say at least a year.
I believe Aaron said 2 years.
Yeah, up to 2 years.
Up to 2 years.
Again, it's a perfect storage, but it's also a good peace of mind that every single time if you're putting fuel in and you're using one of our fuel additives, we just take that worry right off the table.
Yeah.
So that's the main 6, and that's the main 6 things that it covers. So, I can't think of anything that from the fuel that we get to the fuel system that we don't target with this product, and to do a quick comparison to our other 2 main fuel additives, EDT's those same 6. We just dialed down that injector cleaner so you have a more efficient product and a more cost-effective product for your everyday use. And then we have our diesel winter anti-gel, which often gets confused as just an anti-gel, but it's the same 6 as well, plus the anti-gel for the cold season. So I just want to address that. Now, if we get back to the injector cleaner for a minute, so a lot of times we had this talk this weekend when we were out at Shipshewana, NTPA, and we had a couple of folks come up to us that are using a different fuel additive and wanted to know the difference. And it's important that people educate themselves on what you're buying. We have comparison charts we put out there, and you can look a lot of the stuff up and see what the each brand offers and what they're putting out there. Most will have like an injector cleaner product or some sort of an all-in-one, like a sum-in-one. We try to have an all-in-one. And but even when you're just comparing the injector cleaners, it's very important. I think I can only think of one other product that has an ID cleaner.
I believe you're correct. 1 or 2. I can't remember off the top of my head.
You may not have to say the name. I'm pretty sure it's the gray and blue bottle.
I think that's right.
Stanodine?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe Stanodine offers in one of their bottles. They have a couple of different fuel cleaners.
I think it's their performance one. Is the blue one.
So offers a special cleaner that will clean out IDs, which an ID is a internal diesel injector deposit. So these are kind of a newer phenomenon for maybe the last 5-10 years. They started showing up, and it's very unique to diesels. It's very unique to what's happening with diesel fuel market and how it gets passed along from jobber to jobber. These guys in the fuel game, they really play in the penny world. I mean, it's all about fractions of pennies on what they can do with what kind of additives they can put in there to make a claim to get to the pump. Once at the pump, they really don't care. And they put as little as they can in there to make a claim, and that's about it. And the chemical used to clean out the IDs is very, very expensive. And so all these manufacturers that are formulating diesel fuel additives, you get to that point and you're like, there are so many good cleaners out there. There's a lot of different chemical options for them. It's a lot easier to go with one of the really dirt cheap ones than it is to say, let's do that one cleaner, the only one available that will get the IDs out of it. And that's what we do. That's the only one we use. And like I said, I can only think of one brand that also uses it, and they only put in one of their products. The other cleaners that use lesser. But these internal deposits that we're finding in injectors lately, it's actually a result of this fuel passing through many hands. And it's different. What happens when you have too many different additives competing with each other, one jobber to the next jobber to the next fuel cell, they start to like create as gummy.
Yeah, they call them salts, actually, is what they call them.
Right.
And what happens is it happened mainly when we went to the ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel. So they're trying to add some lubricity back into the fuel. Well, there's all these different components now in it. And what it does is kind of, like you said, makes this gummy, sticky residue.
It's like snot.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's on the inside of the injector.
And it hardens too.
Yeah.
And then it messes with your spray pattern. And it's just like the stuff will not come off. It's sticky as all get out. And once it's stuck in there, I mean, and obviously you can't get in there and scrub it out. We have to rely on a fuel system cleaner as it's passing through at 30,000 PSI to like wear that away and clean it off. And you can throw all those chemicals in the market at it. It will not touch ID-IDs except for the one we use. And that, like I said, again, I know one brand that does. So look that up. If you're using a different fuel cleaner out there, look it up and see if it cleans ID-IDs. They'll say right down there. 'Cause I'll tell you what, if they're using the chemical it is required to get the ID-IDs out, they will tell you, just like we do. Because any company that's spending that much on the cleaner, they're going to put it right on the front, cleans ID-IDs. So they're not going to hide from that because it just costs a lot. So we want you to know what's in there. So that's a big thing that I always want people to know. It's because we all will deal with that because we're all getting fuel from the pump. And over time, you're going to deal with those internal deposits. So
It really doesn't matter where you get it from because it just, like you said, it passes through so many hands. Even if you get it delivered straight to your place of business or whatever, it still went through 5 people's hands before you got that fuel.
Terry Howard says, I use the 4-ounce bottle of EDT to bring it home when it comes to a comparison. Bigger bottles isn't always better. That's a good example, you know. I don't have one around here. It's nice being in the studio. We always have bottles that handy. But yeah, our 4-ounce bottle of EDT technically treats 100 gallons. So it'd be the same treatment as almost a 32-ounce bottle. So shows you how much more injector cleaner it is. And then the other 5 ingredients are there as well, too. Nick Caputo says, he's gotten a bad batch of fuel on the way to a racetrack in his RV. Made the engine black smoke and also my own generator. Poured some extreme in the tank and cleaned it up within an hour. Yep, we hear that a lot. We hear people shutting down and calling us from the side of the highway. We'll get, like an emergency customer service call saying, pretty sure he just got some bad fuel, I mean, ran the tank almost dry, just filled up, didn't make it but a mile down the road and things running rough, smoke, everything. It's not surprising there's a lot of bad fuel out there. So that would be an example. When I hear that and somebody now has 80 gallons that they just put in there, and especially in an RV that probably has a large size fuel cell, it's diesel extreme. I might even recommend 2 doses of it, whether you double dose it or run back-to-back tanks of it to get all that, whatever's bad in the fuel. It could either been oxidized because, like we said, there was no stabilizer and it started to go bad. It could have had moisture in there from the ground sweating in. There's a lot of reasons why the fuel gets bad, both, all the above. But yeah, it's a great rescue product when you're dealing with a bad tank. So thanks, Nick. Thanks for the example. But yeah, that's glad they cleared that up for you as well. So anything else you want to hit on this?
It's a good time to put it in your tank right now, being the spring. Everyone, especially if you had like a lawn tractor or something that you only use seasonally.
Right.
Especially if you didn't put it into this fall. Great time to do that. And then remember this fall as well. Put it in before you go to storage, like you said, start it up, run it for a little bit, let it idle through, let it run through the system. I would finish topping off my tank again with fuel at that point as well. That way you got less room in the tank for condensation over winter, and you'll be good to go. Plus, on your first tank of fuel in the springtime, you're cleaning out your injectors well.
Yeah, and also we sold a few gallons of this at the NTPA for some of the agriculture guys too. So when we have this obviously just like any of our products, period. We got everything down from a 16 ounce to 32 to 2 quart. Here's a gallon size right here. We got 5-gallon buckets. We got 55-gallon drums, 275-gallon totes. We got 7,000-gallon tankers. We'll back that thing up and dump it on you if you want it. So it's not just for the everyday driver, but anybody who's got bulk tanks. Obviously, if you're using a bulk tank, whether that's for agriculture or just rural living, and you have different types of bulk tanks, it's an excellent product. It's easy to dose. It's really cost-effective when you're buying it in bulk like that anyways. And I mean, a big, let's see, let me guess, that's what, 320 then?
Yes, 320.
So 320 gallons for, 1 gallon to 320 gallons. So,
That's what I hand all my semi guys.
right.
I say, put this in your tank, fill it up. I know they got 300-gallon tanks.
Yep.
Close enough.
Boom, just right there, and it's got it full. So it's a great option for bulk tank use, big rigs, you name it. And if you really love it, get yourself a tote of it and pump your own gallons out, and you're good for quite a while. So we'll be happy to hook you up with that. Were you checking YouTube? You good on YouTube?
Yeah, we're good on YouTube. Yeah, we only
Okay.
had one comment there. Well,
All right. So what's coming up next week?
are you in next week?
Am I in next week? I should be in next week.
Okay.
Yep. I'm going to Tennessee the following week for that gas versus. We'll talk about that next week, the gas versus diesel event, because that's going to be really cool. Like I said, Epling down there, but they're down in Florida right now, so good luck to this weekend to those guys. And yeah, I'll be back next Thursday. I think the weekend after that I'll be gone. And then after that, the season really starts kicking off. I know NTPA. Well, we got 1 minute. Why don't you give us a quick recap of the NTPA, because it was my first real big NTPA event, indoors, Shipshawana. It was a good time. There were 5 classes.
5 classes.
All diesel classes.
Yep.
And 1 truck class. And then there's Super Farm. Super Pro, or Pro Stock.
Pro stock, yeah.
The 3.0 diesels, right?
Trucks, yep. 3-inch in, 3-inch out, yeah.
Super Stock? Did I already say that?
We didn't have super stock.
Okay, so now I'm making stuff up.
Well, you're close.
I'm getting better.
We had a Pro Farm.
Yes, I couldn't remember that one.
That was the one that looked like most like the ag tractors, and then or no, not Pro. Sorry, Hot Farm.
Hot Farm.
See, even I got confused there. What else did we have?
You're missing one.
Limited Pro stock.
Okay, see, I wouldn't have forgot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't remember that.
Yeah. So we had the big Pro stocks, which up to a 6-inch turbo, and then our limited Pro stocks, which is the 4.1 class.
And I will say, Josh asked me like what I felt about like how it's different from the racing, and I'll say this much: those pulling guys, they are efficient. They start the event sharp at 6 p.m. and we're done at like 9:30 p.m. or so. I mean, like right on schedule. They run them through, and that's the first thing I told Josh. I was like, that's not how drag racing works. I mean, and it's not that we weren't short any epic explosions. There were a few, but at pulling,
That one, I heard a big boom, and like I thought, oh, we got a 10-minute break, and like 4 minutes later, here another tractor start up. I'm like,
as soon as they get it off, they're good to go. I mean, they just kind of rub it in the dirt and smush it around a little bit. In drag racing, we know as soon as they have one oil down, it's like, go get some popcorn, because they got to, get the track completely clean again so it's safe, But the advantage of being on dirt is a big difference and makes the event really efficient and go quick. It really moves and keeps moving. Action the whole time.
right, those guys are real smooth there too.
Yeah, it's such a
bring in some of the
choreographed.
best of the best.
I was taking some video. I got some video that we'll be working on, but I started taking video of that. Like I was like, the tractors and the truck pulling was cool, but watching these guys play this organized chaos game, a musical, one dragging, one roughing it up, another one smoothing it down, patting it down. I mean, after every pull, they are quick. Boom, 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 ready for the next one. Send them,
Yep.
So shout out to the guys over at NTPA and everybody up there at the MEC Center, the MEC Center.
Yeah.
Really cool building. I'm sure, it won't be the last time we go there. And to have a full pull area inside is crazy,
And then how close people are to the action too.
Oh yeah, you're right there.
You're right there.
Yep.
Now
Yep.
I know you're drag racing, you go down typically on the starting line and so forth, but
Right.
where did
Usually
you stand
not
during
that
the pull?
close.
Were you like towards the end of the track on some of those, or
I went all over the place.
all over the place? So to feel that, you could actually feel the power come right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm guessing my next one will probably be outdoor. Mm-hmm. So we'll what do you know what the next one we're going to is?
I think we're going to go to Toma, Wisconsin in June.
Okay,
So we got a
Wisconsin
little bit
is.
of time, but
Well,
They got
shout
a
out
little-
to everybody at NTPA. Shout out to Josh's brother, who's tall enough to help us grab tall stuff. Did come in handy.
I do need a special shout out today. It's my wife's birthday, so happy birthday, Katie.
Oh, happy birthday, Katie. That's cool.
So I got that in before I got in the doghouse.
There you go. Had to squeeze it in. All right, folks. Well, until next time, we'll be here every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Make sure you enter our contest. It's apparently pretty easy to get some free products these days. So, hotshotseeker.com/giveaway.
And we're giving out some gasoline extreme this next week.
For your gasser friends, or unless you have one yourself.
Right.
It's always a good gift. So, good time too. Spring cleaning, gas extreme, diesel extreme.
That's why
Makes
we do
sense.
it.
So, thanks again. We'll see you next week, 1:30 p.m. right here.